is next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Connor, thank you for coming to see me in my office, and Senator Bingaman pointed out that you have a degree in engineering and lamented the fact that we don't have many engineers in the political process, and I've discovered why, actually. I used to recruit candidates for our local legislature. When I talked to engineers, they were shocked to hear that 2 + 2 does not necessarily equal 4 in this business, and so as a result of that, they're not inclined to participate. So thank you for your participation. I explained to you, and we had a lively discussion about the sage grouse issue in Idaho. I understand your commitment to the collaborative process, and again, I would encourage you to follow through on what the previous Secretary of Interior had invited the states to do, and embrace hopefully with glee, Idaho's plan that we've put together on a collaborative process. It's a robust plan to save the sage grouse, and as you know, there are some issues within your department that you and I talked about between a couple of different agencies, and we would sincerely hope that in your senior management position you'd be able to straighten that out. Have you had any chance to look into that any further since our meeting?
Yes, absolutely. I've become even better informed on the sage grouse planning process, and I very much appreciated our discussion. I think it was good context for highlighting the opportunity that we have here. We have an opportunity with Idaho, which also we've engaged with Wyoming and the other states to conserve the species, and through that effort, avoid the need for listing, have on-the-ground conservation efforts that people are invested in and believe in, and be able to conduct a lot of other business and activities. So this is, we are moving forward. We are incorporating, the BLM is incorporating the Idaho plan into its EIS process. That's a good first start to get to the place where I think both of us would like to be at the end of the day. And I commit to you, this is a very high priority. These plans, developing in the time frame, and avoiding the need for listing the species so that we can maintain our other multiple uses, knowing that we're going to conserve the sage grouse is highly important.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and our governor has been the lead on this in Idaho, has done a great job, and we enthusiastically embrace it. For a lot of different reasons, but not the least of which is, and the primary objective is, to conserve the species and see that it does have a sustainable future in Idaho. So thank you very much. Dr. Robinson, you and I had a good discussion about the Idaho National Laboratory, and I want to stress to you again about the cleanup project out there and how important it is to get that done. If we can get that done, it's certainly a great win for the Department of Energy. We're moving along in that direction, and we hope you will continue to embrace that as an objective that's doable and that you can claim a victory on. I would encourage you, since Idaho is the lead laboratory in the United States on nuclear energy, to visit the laboratory. One, for a couple of different reasons. Number one, the work that they do there is just outstanding. But secondly, we do have a waste legacy that has been troublesome since the end of the Cold War. We've resolved it to a degree through the Idaho Settlement Agreement, and we have a project there called the Advanced Mixed Waste Treatment Plant, which has been processing the waste and has been very successful. I think that what's been done there with that plant may be very useful to the department as you move forward in the future on some of these other cleanups. And we hope that you would visit the Idaho Laboratory, and we could have some discussions about how that may be helpful in the future. So thank you for taking on this job, and we look forward to working with you, particularly through the INL.
Right, thank you. And definitely, I would love to go visit Idaho and work with you on those issues, because it could be a great win for the department to finish up and to build on the successes that have already happened in terms of the cleanup there.
It will certainly add to the credibility of the department if you can complete it as scheduled. So, Mr. Binz, thank you for coming to see me. You and I had good discussion on a lot of subjects, and I know this didn't happen on, well, you were at the FERC, but again, I want to stress to you my deep, deep disappointment in the lawsuit that's going on between the Idaho Public Utility Commission since they were sued by the FERC. I think that is a dangerous, dangerous precedent. It was wrong, and you told me, although you couldn't comment specifically on it, some thoughts you had in that regard, and I appreciate that. With that, my time's up, and I thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Risch. We've got